Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to another episode of We Talk Sports, presented by WHEE.T. I'm the host, as usual, Dom Siani, and joining me today is a special guest from Chats with Cats, the host of Chats with Cats, I should say, Alexander Hoffman. Welcome to the show, Alex. We're always really happy to see you, especially around basketball season. The SOCON tournament is here, and we're getting ready for it. March Madness is just weeks away, so I'm really pumped to see what goes on during these tournaments. But I know you have a lot to say, especially starting off with our women's team for WCU as well as the women's tournament.
Absolutely. March Madness, very exciting time, hopefully a very successful time. We haven't seen the most success out of this team. We've seen a lot of struggles, but also they have really kept playing with a lot of heart. They don't give up, really. We just unfortunately have struggled down the second half, especially in that fourth quarter stretch. We just don't end up holding down a lead. Hopefully that's something we see change. We are going to be playing a very formidable opponent in the 1 seed, Chattanooga. One of 3 teams in the SOCON, actually, to have reached a 10-4 record for in-conference, and 18-9 overall.
18-9,
they are on a 2-game loss streak. So maybe we use that to our advantage?
Maybe. It's going to be a tough one. It is Thursday morning, so it's going to be bright and early for the women's team, and they're going to have themselves, they're going to have their hands full. So it's going to be very interesting to see. We've been, saying this a lot. This team has had their struggles. They've had their resilience, but the only thing is that they just cannot finish those games. And, it's really kind of I view it as the way that we kind of see the opposite of the men's team in a way. Just like the men's team, they can start out slow, but then they gradually come back, and they ultimately win those games. Whereas the women's team, they can come back, but the teams usually kind of put them at distance enough for it won't be enough to come back. So it will be very interesting to see what this team does, especially since this will be the final game of the season, and they have yet to win a SOCON game as well as just a Division I game in general. So, a lot is, not a whole lot at stakes in terms of just like, being the underdog in that situation. But the women's team definitely has a lot of pride going into that game. So.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that this could end up being a very close game, even if we don't end up winning it. I mean, they have kept it very close. Their closest game in the Southern Conference was at Wofford, so not even a home game, away at Wofford, who ended up tied for first in the SOCON. I mentioned Chattanooga with that 10-4 record. Same thing with Wofford. They also ended with a 10-4 record, and they are a very good team. But we managed to only lose by 6 points, and that's a pretty good one. And scored 65, which I believe was one of our highest scoring efforts of the season against any D1 opponent. So we'll see how it all pans out. Obviously, got to watch a couple of our players, especially we have Grace Pack in her final season, just had senior night the other night. She is 9th in blocks per game in the entire Southern Conference, along with Allie Hollifield is obviously the star to watch. She is all across the board, leading Western in points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals per game. Along with being second in the entire Southern Conference in minutes per game and steals per game. So
she's out there playing, man.
Yeah, she is playing her heart out. Even when we aren't winning the games, she's still going to keep playing like we are.
Yeah, that's good. No, it's great to see the heart from them, especially just overall, like our team in general. It's a very small team. I think that's the biggest thing here is that the height advantage is going to be hard, and we're playing small ball. The only thing that you can complement that with small ball is if you're really good at scoring. And the thing is, the Cats aren't just consistent enough with scoring. So, but it will be interesting to see what the Western team can go on to do in that game. Big opportunity. Nothing to lose, in my opinion. You got a ton of opportunities. If anything, Chattanooga has everything to lose in that game. The number 1 seed, for them, this is very much a just like, win this game and move on. But for us, it's playing spoiler. So, but moving on to our next game. Let's see here. Moving to our next game of the women's tournament. got ourselves.
Got UNCG and ETSU, the 7 seed and the 2 seed.
Absolutely.
UNCG is in a bit of a different situation than us. They have won 4 games in conference and are currently on a 1-game win streak, and 14-15 overall, so almost a split season. I believe that's very, very close to what our men's team currently is on, actually, that 14-15.
Yeah.
So could be very interesting to see how that game pans out, especially if Western can pull through in that very first time slot.
Yep, very interesting there. But I mean, obviously ETSU, very, really good team. 17-12 overall. I mean, 10-4 in conference play and entering on a 5-game winning streak. I mean, they are as hot as anything going into this tournament. So obviously there's, a lot of things to take in. They got a lot of good players, like kind of leading the SOCON too. So
absolutely. I mean, you've got the first in blocks per game on ETSU's team with Megan Downing, who's also second in rebounds per game. So I think that's just going to be a big challenge for UNCG and the Spartans to deal with ETSU, our mountain rivals.
Our mountain rivals, yeah, that's the border battle there. But they are, I mean, that's just a good team. I mean, both sides are really good, but the women's team, they're catching fire at the right time. So,
absolutely.
But moving on to our next game for the women's bracket, we got Sanford, number 6 Sanford and number 3 Wofford. Obviously Sanford coming into this game 13-18 overall, 6-8 in conference play, and they are on a losing streak, but that's only by a game. Their last game, they are big inconsistent. Their last 3, they went 1 for 2. Their last win being against Chattanooga, and yeah. Then, of course, Wofford going into this game as the higher seed, 16-12 overall, 10-4 in the conference as well. Entering this game on a 1-game losing streak, but still they're 2-1 in their last 3 games. So more or less just simply not the biggest game last week, but
I do think that this game could be a little bit interesting just because Wofford is on that 1-game losing streak, but they did just end a 5-game win streak. So. Yeah. This could be a moment of they just get right back to where they were, or that one loss could have set them back enough to where they end up losing it. But this is a 6-3. This is one of those seed matchups where you can kind of expect to see an upset because we're getting closer to basically the middle.
Yeah.
So, I mean, kind of just have to see how that goes. They do have a couple of really impressive players, especially in Gabby Mundy, being second in the Southern Conference in points per game at 15. So we'll just kind of have to see how that goes. Like I mentioned before, this is the team that we played closest against at Wofford. So maybe they end up letting up to the 6th seed. Maybe they don't. We'll see.
Absolutely. We'll see what happens there. Then we're going to move on to the closest matchup that we got here, the 5-4, the 5 being Mercer taking on Furman. Mercer going into this game 17-12 overall, 7-7 conference play on a 1-game winning streak. Their last 3 games, 2-1, so very, very, very decent there. Then we got Furman, also 17-12 overall, 9-5 in conference play, entering this game on a 1-game winning streak, though they were on a 2-game losing streak before they won this past Saturday. So very interesting to see these 2 teams in their perspectives. So.
Absolutely, and Furman also is one of those teams that whenever we played them at home, I really noticed how many star-level players they have on their team for the women's side. They have a few that I recognize even from previous years, like Claire Coyle had played a huge part in Furman's success last year as well. Not her first year dealing with the SOCONTournament. And right in the middle of the pack is kind of where you want to be for that intense matchup at the end of Thursday's quarterfinals. But I mean, it could be all over the place. You got a lot of good players on both sides, really, which is what happens when you get to those middle of the conference matchups. But Yeah, we'll have to see.
Yeah, we'll have to see there. Do you have any like particular team you think will go far? I know you. I know obviously we want the Cats to do well, but any team in particular, maybe outside of them?
I think if it's not the Cats, I think we can really expect to see. I've been thinking a lot. I think Wofford actually will. If they can get past that first game, I think that they're going to probably make it all the way this year.
Make it all the way this year.
Yeah, last year I believe it was UNCG, who had to play like USC first round,
Oof.
because typically with the mid majors, you know how it is. We get placed as the 15 or 16, and then
Yep.
we end up having to play the UConns or the USCs. And not
yeah,
ideal.
Yep. I know the South Carolinas. I mean, it's gonna be tough. I mean, we've seen it in men's before with the upsets. I think Furman was the latest from the SOCON to cause an upset against Virginia. But who knows? We'll see what happens to women's. It's not as easy, I would say, in women's for those type of upsets compared to say in men's, where it's generally sometimes expected to have one or two upsets in there. Whereas for women's, it's usually closer than we think. So.
Absolutely.
But moving on to our men's brackets for the SOCON, we got ourselves the WCU men's team on a bit of a hot streak right now, taking on the Mercer Bears, who they just beat this past week. So they're going to have another game against them. But they're coming into this with a 5-game win streak right now?
A 6-game win streak right now.
Oh.
With our most recent game against Furman the other day. Huge game. But it's gonna. I mean, it's a 5v4, just like we talked about with the women's tournament. It's gonna be a little bit tough. We are on a split series with Mercer, so this is us trying to take the series home. We are on that huge win streak. I mean, we beat Furman, who was projected to beat us by like 19 points.
19 points.
Even though we did play a lot closer with Mercer, Mercer's a tough team this year. They've got some very, very talented players on their team. Okoji is one that comes to mind, but we've got a lot of players to watch. Any of our players can get hot at any given moment, and that's something I've really come to appreciate about this team.
Absolutely. No, I think that anybody can get hot as well. I mean, we talk about these players here. I mean, Cord Stansbury, Marcus Kell, Samuel Dada. I mean, we got just this is a really deep team, and it's going to show. I mean, we had Pedway being, in the regular season finale. I mean, he went off. I mean, he was catching fire, and it'd be interesting to see where this team goes, especially against, a really good Mercer team that we have beaten. So we'll see what that does going into the tournament. It is hard to beat a team twice, but who knows? Maybe the Cats can do it. They've done it with Furman and ETSU, really good teams. ETSU, of course, being the best regular season team in the SOCON, winning that championship. So we'll see what the Cats can do. Is there anything in particular you think you might see in this matchup?
I think it'll be very close, very gritty. This is actually the matchup, though lower seeds for both. In the first round of last year's tournament, Mercer and Western played as the 8 and 9 last year. And so it'll be interesting to see how they react with that. This Western team is a team that I'm coming to expect more and more out of every time. There's 2 true freshmen that are starting the last probably 5 games, and a little bit of that's obviously due to injury that happens, but also Samuel Dada is just outstanding. So is Talon Pedway.
Yeah, absolutely.
At any given point, they could just catch fire, and Samuel Dada usually is catching fire the entire game. He's 5th in the SOCON in rebounds, so that's I think what we can expect is a lot of offensive boards. That's something that Coach Kraft focused on a lot this season. Is making sure that the players are actually getting those offensive rebounds, because that's huge on the second chance points, which is something.
And that was something last year that they really kind of lacked in, is those rebounds. It was kind of killing them that they couldn't catch one, and it was kind of the main reason they were able to not really be as effective, especially scoring wise. But defense this year, they have taken a bigger leap, and I think we'll see that a lot against Mercer, a team that they have beaten and one of the better performances they have had. But we will see what they can do. So
absolutely.
But moving on to our next game, the 8 and 9, we got Chattanooga taking on the Citadel. So, Alex, give me the rundown on this game here.
So Chattanooga is coming into this again. This is the 8v9, so this is going to be that first round happening on Friday night. So we've got Chattanooga and Citadel. Chattanooga's coming into this 13-18 overall, 7-11 in conference on a one-game win streak. Though with that one-game win streak, there was just one loss in between. And then they just beat Citadel like a week and a half ago.
Yep.
At Citadel, in fact, by 19 points or 21 points.
Yeah.
So
I would be surprised here. I know these are like really close teams, but I mean, just overall, I mean, Chattanooga is a tougher team than I think the Citadel is. I mean, we've had our issues against Citadel, but we've also have taken care of them. And Chattanooga is a very underdogish team in this tournament, I would say. I would not be surprised if they make it far as well, because they're, you can't really predict what they're going to be up to, but yeah.
I mean, Chattanooga is the team that won the NIT last year with their now West Virginia guard Honor Huff. So obviously they don't have him anymore. He's moved on out of the Southern Conference, but I do think that this Chattanooga team is, I don't want to say they've got it in the bag, but they've kind of got it in the bag. They do have the same conference record, though.
They do have the same conference
really,
record.
Who knows?
But I think context matters, and just overall, Chattanooga is going into this game a little bit more hotter than, say, Citadel, who is 1 for 2 going into this matchup. But it's anybody's game, but I'm going to say the Mocs will probably pull this one out.
Yeah, I think so. I think it might be a little closer than their last matchup, but I still think that the Mocs probably win by at least 10.
Absolutely. Moving on to our 7-10 matchup, we got the UNCG Spartans taking on VMI. So, was it UNCG? Very interesting team to talk about. I don't know. They're even in conference play. Coming in this game a little bit, bruised up. They're 1-2 in their last 3. Taking on VMI, obviously the not the best team in the SOCON, I would say.
Yeah, VMI is in fact currently 1-17 in conference and on a 16-game loss streak, meaning somewhere right at the beginning of the season they managed to get one win in and have not had a whole lot of success. They do play a pretty close first half. Unfortunately, I do think they're just one of those teams that we're in a very tough Southern Conference this year. I think men's and women's has kind of displayed that a lot by the scores that we've been seeing out of these games. I think VMI this year has just struggled to keep hold. I think there might be some injury going on there. But like I said before, it's just kind of how it goes in college basketball.
Yeah, you're just going to get beat up. I mean, that's the thing with basketball in general. You play so many games that, you just get you get beat up and just kind of have to roll the punches. It's a little different than other sports in the way that you play on a weekly basis, almost daily sometimes. It's really tough, practices and everything going into this game. I mean, VMI obviously not well known for, just athletics in general, especially with the major sports, but still, they played. They can play a tough game in the beginning, but overall the talent on those other teams are just going to outdo them. So
yeah,
I'd be surprised if UNCG, if this game is close, but never say never. We could see an upset. It's the SOCON tournament, so who knows? VMI could pull off the upset. So.
We did see a couple years ago ETSU make a deep run from the first 4, so could see something.
And of course, we got our last matchup here. We got ourselves Sanford taking on Furman, the 3rd and 6th seed, going at each other. So, yeah, Sanford, very interesting to see. They finished 18-13 overall, 11-7 in conference play, and are on a 2-game winning streak. So pretty good. Obviously 2-1 in these last games. Their last loss was against Mercer, surprisingly, but that was by a 3 point. So it was a really close game. But these last ones, they've kind of taken care of VMI and have keep away with UNCG. So interesting to see what Sanford is this year, especially taking on Furman, who is not a pushover as well. 19-12 overall, 11-5 in conference play. In one game was it winning streak, I would say.
Oh, one game.
Loss.
Little bit of a
Little
typo in there,
typo
but
there,
one
but
loss. But they are 2-1 in their last
Yeah,
3.
so still pretty good.
Thanks to us breaking their little
That's
win streak
right.
they had
That's
going.
right. That's right. Yep, we did. We did break the win streak. But this is a really good matchup here. I mean, even though those seeds right there, I mean, 3 and 6. I mean, that's a really good matchup still.
Yeah, I mean, this is another one like we said for the women's tournament that could be a very close game. Furman they're a very tall team. They play a lot of the bigger guys in terms of height. So I think this is a game where we see a lot of rebounding action. Typically, we see a lot of, with our Samford teams, a lot of aggressive play ever since Coach Bucky a few years back, which it's not dirty play necessarily, but they do play quite aggressively. They're very full court press, full time.
Yeah.
And so I think that's something we can expect to see, but if Furman can handle that after getting beat by us in the regular season finale, then Furman should be fine, but I think this is one Samford takes.
I was going to say, this one, it feels like Samford just has it. I mean, I think it'll be a close game. You can't really doubt Furman, but Samford's just a really good team year in and year out.
Yes.
And this game will kind of show it. But is there anything else before we move on to our last segment of the show that you want to talk about for the men's bracket?
I don't think so necessarily. I just think it's, again, with that Western men's game, just highlighting how important some of these players are going to be to the success. We also could have about a couple of our players that have been injured come in.
Yeah.
Not completely sure how that'll look. We get a full week off thanks to us clinching the 5 seed and not having to play in that first 4.
Yeah, we get a full week off. Yeah, and we get to play right back at it Saturday, so that's good.
And at 8:30 p.m. too. So
a late game, so that's good for the Cats there. Is there any team in particular? Obviously, we think that.
I think Western actually has this one.
I was about to say, we think Western can make a deep run here. In fact, maybe even win the conference here. We'll see what happens. Is there any team outside the Cats you think should be?
I think if it's not the Cats, it's gonna end up probably ETSU, if I had to take a guess.
ETSU is a really good team going into this. Obviously, we talked about the women's team, but this men's team is pretty good. We swept them in the regular season. Obviously, it would be tough. If I had to guess, we'll
probably play them in the semifinals.
I will say semifinals.
As long as we make it through that quarterfinal round, we're gonna end up playing them more than likely in the semis.
Yeah.
It'd be a really, really nice way to cap off the tournament if we can beat ETSU, sweep them through 3 games, and then also beat Furman.
Furman in the finals, and to claim the.
Both of our rivals, our chromatic rivals in Furman and our mountain rivals in ETSU. Before we have to deal with the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles next year.
Yep, very interesting. I mean, yeah, we'll see how that goes when the conference realignment hits, both for this and football, especially football. They've been killing it there.
Yes.
But moving on to our final segment, we got ourselves the social media segment of the day, which is going to be a little bit of a Catamount type of themed social media segment. We got ourselves a draft your all-time Catamount basketball lineup. So I'll give you the rules here. Simply, we'll go off of the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5, and we'll have a 6-man just to go for it. So that can be any position here, and you can move guys around. They don't have to particularly play in their position. So if you want to put a power forward at center, you can. Same with small forward and forwards in general. Guards, you can even elevate a guard if you think they're big enough to a forward position. So it's kind of like that. I will go ahead and give you the first pick. So you go for it, and yeah.
I'm just gonna go ahead and put Samuel Dada at the 5.
Samuel Dada at the 5. Okay. Pull up my all-time list here. That's a good one. I was thinking Dada too. I'm going to go with a bit of the legend here. I'm going to go with the local boy, Henry Logan. Really, really good player here. Straight out of Asheville, North Carolina. I'm going to put him at. He's a guard, so I'm going to put him at the 2. I'm going to put him shooting guard. So pretty good player.
Okay. I'm going to. Let's see. I just think about this a little bit, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take Dr. Ronnie Carr.
Ronnie Carr.
At the 3.
At the 3. Okay. Well, I'm going to take one of your favorite players, Russell Jones Jr. there at the 1. So I know it sucks. I'm going to take him there to get my guards kind of figured out there. So your turn.
One of our best players in recent years. I think I'll put Vontarius Woolbright at the 4.
4. Nice. That's a good.
Averaging those 23 points per game in his last season in college basketball.
I'm gonna take another recent guy here. I'm gonna take Dijon Demasier. I'm gonna put him at my. I'm gonna put him small forward. I think he can play that pretty well. I know it's a little smaller of lineup, but I think I'm gonna hit strides with a little height at the end here. So.
I think I like where we're going with some of these recent players. I think I'm going to continue on that trend. There's 2 choices that I really worried you're going to take one of them, but I guess I'll just have to deal with it. I'm going to put Trey Jackson at the 2.
At the 2, okay. I see how you're moving there. I'm going to take another recent player here. I'm going to take was it Vernon Collins and put him at. I'm going to put him at the. I'd say the power forward center. I think I can. I'll put him at power forward.
Okay, feels like you're waiting for something here at the in your center position.
Yeah.
But to round it out for me, I'm surprised you didn't take a couple of these guys that are left just hanging here.
We still have a 6-man too.
Oh, that is true.
We still have the 6-man. Yep.
Oh man, that's rough. I'm gonna say Cord Stansberry at the 1.
At the 1. Okay, I like that too. I was even thinking Cord. I was also thinking Cord at the 1, but I was thinking getting Russell as a pure shooter and getting some spacing too.
Yeah.
But speaking of spacing here, I do have that. I'm gonna take Kaba as my center right there, so I can get that height because I'm gonna need that for some scoring as well as some defense there. But yeah.
Deal with Dada.
Deal with
Gotta
Dada.
have him. Okay, so 6-man. There's some good choices. I do like all the recent with each of us having more of a legacy player as well. But I think to round out my roster,
You can pick legends too.
I can pick legends. But honestly, I think some of our guests from Old Chats with Cats, I classify those as legends.
Yeah,
so for my 6-man, I am going to go ahead and pick current player at California, DJ Campbell.
DJ Campbell, nice. There. For my 6-man, he was he was pretty on force. I don't think you haven't taken Pedway yet, right?
No, I have not.
I'm gonna take him as my 6-man there. He was on fire this past weekend. So, but that is gonna do it for our episode. Here's our lineups right here. I think we're gonna have Owen put a poll when this episode gets out on Instagram, so you guys can vote on which one you think has the better lineup. But thank you guys so much for watching this episode of We Talk Sports. Thank you, Alex, for joining me today. Thank you for helping out with this episode as well. Go watch some Chats with Cats. He puts a lot of heart into those episodes and those interviews as well. It's a good side of the sports story as well. It's not always just about the athletes. It's about the game day experience as well. So go check those out. March Madness is almost here, so that will be kind of the focus of these next episodes. We got NFL free agency as well. So we have ourselves a long off season, but also some postseason as well. We are going to get into some hockey as well as some NBA talk as well. I know Alex, who has been recently getting into some NBA, has been.
Go Hornets.
Go Hornets, indeed. So we'll get back into that once we get things going again. We have a good spring break, so we're very happy about that. I know I am, but we are also happy to do WHEE.T for another season. But thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, go Cats!